Thank you so much for staying with us. We appreciate your company. This is still the Max Morning Show. And like we always do on Tuesdays, we delve into our health so we can live a better life. And today we're so blessed to have Dr. George Donkor from Noble Trust Hospital. And he is here to talk to us about our daily activities and the toll it takes on our health. And we're going to begin with a memory thing because Kwesi Krasi is a little down right now. Almost everyone in the studio, and I'm using almost here consciously, almost everyone that was present just a couple of minutes ago could remember their index number. Doctor here remembers, but Kwesi Krasi doesn't. And then Kwesi asks Doctor, why? Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Apome.
Mpochoboko.
Yeah, then Yamias is there also Abedu. It's a kind index number.
I still remember my index number. Okay. After 25 years.
Mpochoboko index number.
That is 30 1919. 1 the last one I will not mention.
Okay.
If not,
Oh, but right now I can go back. I finished here since 1995. I can go back and get my index number.
Sure.
Go to WAEC.
You get to WAEC, you get all the records.
Okay, without my index, just the name, they can.
No, hardly, because the names like George Donkor, we have so many George Donkors. So the index number will identify you from any other George Donkor.
So, but I just feel like my producer, you know, Desmond, you're not telling the truth. Are you sure you really remember your index? Because the way it's like they all make me look some way. So what was? Let's start before we get into what was so special that you remember. I think it starts there. Is it something that is dear to you that makes you put in that effort to say I would remember?
Okay,
regardless?
So. At that time, our headmaster, he was like encountering a situation where our predecessors goes to the center and they are not able to remember all their index numbers. So they remember, then they leave a portion, maybe 1 digit or 2. Then they will go and write, that paper will not be present in their result sheets. So what he did was that he was forced every morning, like the way we were doing mental. So he will come, then everybody class 10. If you're able to remember your index number, you sit down. If not, you will receive some cane. So that was like, it went on for about 3 months. And you know, in science, whenever you recite something for about 21 times, it moves from your temporal memory to your permanent memory.
That's the subconscious.
Yes.
From your conscious to your subconscious.
Yes.
Okay. 21 times.
21 times.
Into a Bible quotation, I have to.
So you read it today, tomorrow, like
no,
that.
21 times like in a day.
Not in a day. So if you do it, we have something called flash memory. So flash memory, like you're on the air and somebody call a telephone number. You can remember all the digits. Probably you will leave some 2 or 3. So you will begin to juggle around your brain that, so is it 3 or 4? So that is flash memory. So if you do everything at a go, you may not be able to move it from the temporal memory to the permanent memory. But if you do it today, you have done it tomorrow, you have done it. So your brain automatically picks it and then move it to the subconscious memory, whereby if you...
So people who forget names or won't really penny, I have to see the person consistently to remember the name.
Exactly.
Is that the reason why back when we were in class we could remember our mates and because we are with them consistently.
Exactly.
On that note, I remember Anna Anku.
Okay.
Good morning to you.
Anna Anku. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Louis Labi, Farouk Tonga, all those people. I remember you now. That's good.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, all right. Inti, your friend is saying. Joy Wasimbi.
Yeah, I wanted, before we go into our lifestyle and its impact on our health, I wanted to ask you, the weather has been dry. Good. Yes, and I was in the Eastern region this weekend, and the Harmattan is really there. So, how is it affecting our health? Let's talk about it a bit before we come into our lifestyle.
So when you look at the Harmattan, Yankatri. Okay, into Harmattan, Otumwa. It has 2 impacts our life. Your health impact and that of the agricultural impact. Inti wo yehwe sibia harmattan no. Harmattan is a kind of weather that moves from the sub-Sahara Africa to the Gulf of Guinea. A type of wind be move from that direction. Now that wind comes with a little dry, humid, and that of having a lot of microbes, particles mixed in the atmosphere. It moves from that sub-Sahara Africa towards the Gulf of Guinea. Into all the countries around the belt of Gulf of Guinea experiences harmattan. And it lasts from November till March. That's approximately 4 months.
Because I thought the harmattan oko. And then just this Sunday, and it, you know, from nowhere, the whole place is dusty. Until you need kakra.
Or intensify to the degree of albotum essence. So if you use machine to test, you won't there November or the weather, the climate has changed over time up to that.
Like every Juma and a pakretum day, we are a chance and we need like you can travel through dark space till you get to work now.
Exactly.
So the harmattan and our health. Let's talk about that.
Okay, nti se harmattan when the inframarginal or atmosphere it becomes dry and you inhale it, what is going to happen is that the moist in your nasal cavity and that of your throat or dry. So people who are susceptible to sinusitis can have more chronic impact. But when I say if the person rubs the nose and on the nostrils, you can easily get a bruises or crack, and you bleed through your.
Rob, not today. Yan can you train uncle Fontas? I wear times on sa and a BBC show honeymoon. I dare you him.
Into botume hinum. And now, beyond so because minimum so is connected to we have what we call respiratory system. So we have the upper respiratory system, that of the lower respiratory. So the upper respiratory system now offer minimum other by sinus cavity so if you inhale dry air over time all my minimum oil dry, and when your lungs and lower respiratory system senses that BB dry is entering into the system and causing the mucous lining to become dry. Now, it will trigger the mucous lining to pull out a lot of mucus. Another amamine, the overall so ahrawanum. And when the amamine become more, it can block the air passage now, or alveoli, the end part of lungs. So it makes breathing difficult for when our conditions today, asthma, bronchitis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, into them for pneumonia, they begin to have difficulty breathing during the harmattan season. The unnatural so people with a lot of sinus issues will begin to have a lot of mucus buildup. Into mucus also is the body's own intelligence there. It will clog around your nasal cavity. Okay. It's a way our body used to prevent toxins, pathogens from entering into your body. But to more pen, then it will block your air passage. Now breathing becomes difficult.
During harmattan, during harmattan, major problem has to do with the respiratory system.
And then the cerebrospinal system.
Oh, okay.
The microbes during the harmattan, they mix in the atmosphere, atmospheric particles, what freedom particles. And say if you inhale it to system, they can pass through your nasal cavity into the brain. And the brain dibi or kata brain who friend neural matter and manages matter. Now that manages matter so one they cause inflammation to the manages matter and causes condition called cerebrospinal meningitis.
Ghana, I think I spoke about it from the beginning of it. But why is it so endemic in the northern part of Ghana?
Okay, so you see, I made mention there, the harmattan starts from the sub-Sahara Africa. And then it moves towards the Gulf of Guinea. And we those in Accra, almost the last bit of the to the Gulf of Guinea. Okay. Now, those in the north, they are very close to the source. Inti, is it the impact from the where the thing is coming from? No, they experience it more. Inti na ma oil much more common. Inti by the time na inflammation do inside no, then the degree of intensity no, why shall I say
Okay, apart from respiratory system problems in our cerebrospinal meningitis, open a body bill no.
Okay.
To me the body.
You peduan to me dehydrated. Okay, so even though the weather in the night you can have up to 9 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius, which is very cold. Daytime you can have up to like 30 degrees Celsius or more. Now, all of them now, you don't have that agency there. You will drink more water, so you begin to lose more water through the dry air and then sweating. Then you have what you call dehydration, and dehydration has a lot of medical conditions. A bit there, it can cause kidney stones. Dehydration. Whenever you consume anything, you hear a lot of water to be able to metabolize whatever we consume. Insulin do no onye enough, the fluid content to become saturated, and then things minerals like calcium, magnesium, and then cysteine will begin to they will
crystallize.
Yes, they will crystallize or cram together.
A day, how many liters a day?
We need about 2 liters to 4 liters in a day. That's about sachet water now, water now, from pure water. You hear between 4 to 8 in a day.
4 to 8 in a day. That means an upper be a bit me and
the 2.
If we have 2, and you break a crack,
good.
Wow.
It helps the body. And your blood will become highly viscous. Your blood will become highly viscous. Highly viscous. So you begin to experience palpitation during this Hamatan season.
Is there any effect when you overdrink? Like, let's say, we are 8 now. The minimum super.
Yes, there's overdrinking.
Overdrinking. Is there a problem that comes with it?
Yes, there's a problem too. What you can even have what you call water poisoning. So, water poisoning is like, if you look at sweat, mucus, and other body secretion, it contains some level of alkalinity, another in kakrawum. Now, if you drink a lot of water, you over dilute that in chinano, and your cellular cells need that in chinano to be able to function well. So if you drink it too much, it's not good. If you drink too less too, also it's not
in
good.
the case, I come 8 in a day, but still in succumbed. What would you do?
Okay, so it depends the way now. Some people, they want to drink all at a go, which is not the best. You can drink it intermittent. Okay, kakra, across the period. On no our boy, but say, still, if you that in succumbed, that could be another health implication. Be today will be our sugar problem. All right. Then you feel the quest there.
Quickly, before we move to the main topic, let's address this issue. People living with sickle cell, around this time, most of them get multiple crises.
Exactly.
Yes, let's talk about that a bit, then come to the main topic.
Sickle cell is a condition whereby red blood cells, it looks like a Ghana pesos, coin, round. Okay. So, that round shape, it is combination of other minerals and then oxygen.
Okay.
Now, oil round shape, no to move easily. So, in the sickle cell, or a little defect, oxygen into so that it can circulate very well. And I know that during this dry season, they need to drink a lot of water. If they don't drink water, and water is two hydrogen, 1 oxygen. You are introducing a little level of oxygen into your system. One, 2, the shape will become like half of a moon, another crescent. Only year round, but then over half round. And that half round, and because weather oil cold during this season, circulation becomes a little minimal. It's be a MBA kamoja be there from sunny because of whether now cold it won't moja on to in the Afro. Then what will happen there? Some more general qua they will begin to experience some level of pain in their joints. And see nkamoda why in there. They should try to see their doctors and then take advice. Check the type of food that we did. No one knows or the man. It will minimize the risk. And I want someone kuntu another antara or conserve a lot of
water. Long sleeve, trouser.
Now winter moon.
Oh, there are people living with sickle cell in the US and all of that.
Yeah, who is?
But we'll dress appropriately.
Yes. As soon as you know how to go according to the weather, you can survive.
All right. So, doctor, our main topic, you know, inti someone who said you need Dr. Donkor din komo about hamatani idea. More questions mo send my say openo in so as ben and a war ni papa mudin so. Nigidi se doctor yi anuama. And then topic a dapono so pa no. Any obra yebo. Any instance so ewo ya pomuden so nti doctor yen sha simfi emra idampe ma wenyu ato na wenyu oboya what should you do to improve your health yen sha simfi mpado kusi de besa ne foma nti you take us through
okay
nipa wenyu ato odampado obi a osane fom bi o kwa kogware anado obedidi what you eat what nti take us through na adwumam ne karim na sa faye breath ye body no dey yansa na yada nti
let's use you as an example.
Okay, so
when you are to
so the first thing is you have to lie down for minimum of 5 minutes.
Even if your alarm goes, why alarm no? Oba gringa krana, lie down.
Nti isola either the bed lie down, man straight to your bathroom. No. You have a condition called orthostatic hypotension. So, orthostatic hypotension. Yeah. So this is how. So today you are having a bottle of water, okay? But the water in the bottle on your full, but infant there about 1/3, okay? And he say eda it's your bottle in the mina. Other side no, it's not covered with water. It is a turn the mina top no so ninya. That is how our body is. Imagine now way it's not say yakada is tilted to the brain. And it is a sort of gravity takes it. So the body will push some certain mechanisms or will push imojano back to the brain before the brain will get sufficient oxygenation, not with too much diet. So if you have problem with blood circulation, chronic anemia. No, and you who are hypertension, say it doesn't solve by force. Until you have to sit down for some time, minimum 5 minutes. Let the body kick in.
Are you sitting down like this or still lying down?
No, you sit down.
At the asor.
And the asor.
Also, when you want to work, man, sorry to prove. My home make a crazy. Sorry, not now. So now my home make a crazy.
Na so me hear the man so na moja no so still
on moja bebre na ba wonase
wa ba me na ase
intina so obi wo mbia edema na se nipa no because of that na kuma no on tumbo no on the hospital doctors will ask you to lie down like this, then raise your leg to level or close to wasin
no moja
to me afloat to them so inti but na se by the 5 minutes. After that, then you go and drink water, then you go and bath.
Let's talk about lights in the first.
Let him educate us properly there. Because if you know one fall be nasum, it the hoka creepy when you are to a sorry tinaho. It's sorry. Kono munsu. First thing no munsu. Okay.
But if you move the one light are consistently off. Like I don't sleep in the light. Until I saw in day, do you go put on the light or you wait a little bit to put on the light?
And into bottom when you quite because you are not supposed to encounter on your kind of boss to don't worry about the lights.
It doesn't have any effect.
The thing is that the lights and then the eye and the brain has a link. So like you jump the whole show no young kwen and sana adachino. Okay, so we said we should start from early morning, but in this question or they time okay, so and you edufie no around 7 p.m. now sun assets another area no akoto. There is something in the brain called pineal gland. It produces something called melatonin. It's a sleep hormone, and that pineal gland connects with your eye. It is a light or a very sensitive white light. Obakacha anyone there, anyone can check pineal gland there. The sun is still there. I didn't say. Intimate produce in so bottom ada.
Wow.
So you begin to become alert and intimate that. So some people they are not able to sleep and light for them because the pineal gland will produce more of that melatonin. Produce melatonin when the light is on. The same applies to smartphones, smart televisions and the rest. It is a television or ordinary a pedada. WhatsApp now. You are telling your eye non-country there. You are not ready to sleep. Into money produce you saw friend melatonin, so you will not sleep. Inti say kada na say idum light na swara. What you need to do in there, just relax within that 5 minutes. Then after 5 minutes, sorry. By that time, that mechanism has kicked in, pushing blood into the brain, the heart, and then the other part. You can now go and then turn on your light and then continue. It's not organs now. Every organ, not time or your juma at peak.
Really?
Every organ. For instance, your pancreas, or your juma very effective from morning 5 a.m. to that of 11 a.m. and upper 5 up 11. Pancreas ni ye juma ye pa. Enti ikwa hospital na kare check sugar. Doctor will ask you check between 5 to somewhere 10. In that time the pancreas is very active. After that time why a door? Until a check with sugar where you're random. But fasting. So that time. The same applies to one intestine. Large intestine is very between 5 a.m. to that of 9 a.m. Within that time, one will push all the waste material from your system. A day before now,
what type of water? Warm? Or
room temperature water is the best. Cold water is
not tracy dem ho si foam
is
that why obi sorry anapa so tumi num nso a sabi onya atenka da onko baby don
good and it is very good because here say it's banu chere ho some bad bacteria comes there to feed on it. They call the bacteria anabala bacteria. So that bacteria converts them Adibi war, ye pedin of friend bile into our convert bile into maybe our friend estrogen. And that estrogen is not supposed to be produced by a bacteria. It's supposed to be produced by the gland. Into a gland then to produce no bacteria and produce pet. It will not be effective for the body. Into say it keep a giant toilet for a very long time. What happens in there? Between baby a giant now of her sigmoid column and that of your prostate, it has a very direct correlation. It will absorb the waste material into the prostate and it will affect the ecology of your prostate capsules.
All right, young man, Miss Mobile, young jump too much, no. Ya in Nadia, sorry, yen numunsu.
Good.
Into no be yam put a recorder, one pan in China, din subi, esiho. Into 2 or 5 minutes now, I retrain a bit to my okay, into anumunsu be I to one abo pie.
Good.
If a day corner kogari, irregular, if I didn't know day early in the morning.
Into on the normal thing now, until I brush with it.
No exercise.
If it is not mandatory, the MBA or the yes, I don't really worry about exercise. In time, should the MBA loan but to a puya. Into honest
doctor, I can't before. She said, Ube to me, I could jaw 9 years. Now, so bet me, I could baby swat. And not the animal should you even try to sit on it to see?
Yes.
Because sometimes you don't feel, but when you sit on it, the brain would
trigger. You have something called sympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
So about push no, not why. But it's not that man can idea no, or the yen now you could to no, or your waist level.
Say it's not WC no dra.
WC no dra. Or there unan chromano, or waist level.
Into other yet now then.
More kind when we sit down like that, it's always
you're supposed to squat.
It's always like that, but
yes
I do you day
but yeah na quiet today yeah 9
or flat or flat
inti say if your WC no or sura get today fear ekungwa no febi so na for inti na wona na sidu inti if it happens so if it happens so it relaxes your sigmoid column into all the any na to
I was for doctor can say me Dr. Donkor din komo afa dani da no ma bia ye beboa ama ya pomuden akoyie pa na asem a waka me nyini se nipa bebre ye mpanimfo na ya na omunan sisi fom na ahohunu nti ya na mokotena do bisi so omudi nkonwa si ho de omunan sisi so sa doctor se ye boa pa wutan kotena do bisi so na se ma doctor si pe efie akonya na se nene plastic chairs nketenkete abai o si peja wunan sisi so abra wote so na no be relax with sigma column no na aboa ama no ma anya nyina aba wo kan sem bi o so ye bema na wonta nko ba bi so wa no a o si mu abo ne bi produce estrogen na ben prostate no sa afa wo behunu na prostate no o ha wa hyase e ba ho nti na chese ba bi so aye kono kura no utumi koni ye a ebetumi aboa so wahunu Dr. Donkor wa ha e di nkomo nkakra nti mo fide ni na ha ya all right and so usi empeja e nine e bewia na afi doctor let's dwell but for females as it cry according to Ghana Health Service o ma yenya infection and herbalist bi afa ho what did this kai ye mesima ye ko baby do wi ye siesie ye ho aye doctor ye mra mesiafo you see the way our place is very the inner area is very close to the vaginal area inti ana wakofa ye hwe mesima be siesie ye ho
so concerning if see hwese bi a mesiafo one biological makeup otino the anus is very close to the it's about 4
doctor there what doctor and passport beka the anus is very close to the okay kaka
the anus is very close to the vagina
yeah. Okay let's go
all be honing say if you are cleaning the anus now you don't have to clean from the back forward
and pepa sabe
free
wachi and pepa and free wachi ma wanim
nti that is rather from
the free wanim ko wachi and pepa fi sabe wo ba ho no ekọ sabe wo to ho no eno be boa pa
eno ne ideal
eno na best okay
nti eno
sa
wa wie no enka obetimi a wo de hohoro
ka fancy hohoro wo ya no wa hohoro nsa nya wa de
nti nka wo hohoro wo di nso hohoro wie a no cleaner eno no it will keep you away from because anytime be a ye nipedua na kwa baabia ebe ye moist to a certain degree emma microbes sha say
grow mo na say ho no asensuo bi anasa afọ kakra no
effort to a certain degree emma emmoa bi eba ho nti obi a we nti mi fan say wo dware mpo na wo pepa ho na say between the gluteus maximus no that's what to mienu no entem no one pepa ne ye kra over time no be say ehwo na sha say aye fita because nsuo na ama ehwo afọ no eboa na microbes to say fungal infection e shall say a grow or sabia na etimi de yare
why e cry dey to me why o say be dey to me pie bi na say probia ba ho enti yare dwaye e die na yanya because nipa bebre stroke omunya na dwaye
yes
yare bebre omunya na dwaye enti wawi a wawura dwaye no ensuo no e wo say yes kwan be kra na wo say wo sha ase di nsuo go ho se me na nyina e be di hu nkomo e say na ye boanko for doctor
you say me can be about orthostatic hypotension say mbia wo sorry na all of a sudden wo kwa adwa majority of time no say mo sorry na mo nanti sa na imoja ni ndru adwene nti mo say adwene sha say and the body is so smart say ehu say adwene no enya imoja oxygen wo mu a na body na nkasa sha say e put you in a horizontal way nti eputu sana so that emoja no betimi afro akọ adwen no mu
nti wo so honam no enu apushi ne
ho
anya wo na
wo ye eyi body na nkasa na so that emoja no betimi apushi akọ adwen mu na etimi akiki in nti se ukwa edwaye a nti se ye in the right way ukwa edwaye a bombodi wo de nsuo no fashion say wo na ase all the
nsuo ben e wo say nsuo ni nsuo nyunu de anansuo share
enye to say warm water
not cold
not extremely cold we use extremely cold in suya ebema wo blood vessels no ebe contract ye ka say contraction ebe mwa be ka dwum I say nti e ka dwum sa na emoja na say fam no when say emoja no entimi emfa inti no mu nti say wonya de a eye warm kakra na eno ebe boa na blood vessels be dilated now
athletes use that cold water money again. What is the difference there?
So that's one. They also have some health implication. They have some health. Inti ebema blood vessels no ebe cardium. The cardium sana moja no won say ntimi circulate but because omo quite younger no ntino impact no that much and their exercise is also much more frequent ntino omo nya much impact compared to say ye lay person ye professional athletes now nti yes na ebe put here in the path say ye betianya coronary artery disease, that is blood vessel related disease. Into your blood kajuma, imagine into me from ye. Into your basana ye, their friend circulatory heart disease. Imagine I say circulated to akumano, into me koye, adreno, into me. Into so you'll be our condition to say angina pectoris. That is imagine to me akumano who ye dada. Now would jarry, now unsun air kajuma. Most if it wakumano air bought in temtem.
Yes. Inti na nkofo bebre time enya stroke ni ehwehwe ifi form no.
Inti
ye ura dwa ya wonsuo no wo se first of all e wo say de inti enyunyunu bebre de emwa. Okay inti nsuo no so
nsuo no so kra na de na wo fra no. Say bia wo de wa prepare wo flask man asa nsuo hia. Would the answer the begu bucket no fensuo nyu gu bucket no answer na wo de nsuo no.
Nsuo na gu. Na wo say anything.
Because bucket no say yet say plastic bucket e contain certain chemicals as wo de nsuo no hinu gu mu a e be leak nsuo no
and nsuo no be react.
Chemical no be leak into the nsuo hia no. Into dware na say call ho a. Is it anything be area apply skin be no so e kwa iridium. So you begin to absorb some of the enema na ewo bucket no emu nti say wo de nsuo nyugu mu ansa na wo de wenu fra
na nti doctor go ha okodware ofa na wo sense no de gu ne tisu straight eno no ya motan ka senye adenti na moyeta
for mema
obi ya na okay man bi nti na say my entire thing we
eno na me kire say depend on the temperature of insuo no say a very cold that betiama blood vessels no be sha say ebe kan drum nti e kan drum sa na ebe slow down circulation to certain degree na eno na enti you consider say any advisor was obeying to be gradually.
Nti seminar na yenhwe seminar no.
Support
seminar ni support nyina ene ne kura.
Okay. Nti was seminar no hu. Ye was seminar bi wo ho a ebinumu use in the form of say obema oyetuntum te say me kura na opese oye broni. Nti eno sa no.
Broni.
Some of sa seminar no. FD engine 2
okay
into FD engine 2 no use sana ebtimi ema winya corrosion ewo skin no ebitumi e won say first layer no
then why
na sha say enya problem and I say why it ebit into samina no we dey dia wonim say FD ajatuma regular with either say medicated soap and I say whatever the soap it's but modern we use na say we use during ujare no obi wo ho infection kradada nti wo infection a mema samina no enkotwutwu baby infection wo nti me fan say mbia wo infection wo groin wa yase ana say obema no ho mema samina no enko ho
e man say sansan bi agugu wa
good
okay
because say what the samina no irritated no sra ho a ebe cause more itchy na ebe keka more
ubetiti more na ma infection na spread
okay nti eno ne ba ko na afa nso say we your bounce na say wo dware a memfa wonsa ni wonsa obi ho din sa 2 1 emfa nhye ho say wo de be clinic ho
o de shahin ho doctor me come no doctor si sabi previous and sabi adru sabi anyado wo dware na sabi adru mra wo ho wase a emfa wonsa ba ko mienu ana me ensa nhye wase the vagina is a self cleansing organ.
Thank you. Inti for wonsa for no baby a for no ntimi nko no asa
for wonsa for no hohoro ho
into the ho say ntimi anko asa
ya ne flat o se fa nye ni say
yes na de ahohoro into the hohoro a anyway into no san e boa na minimize bruises ne afenso introduction of some toxins and obi wo nso a obedware a na ode a lot of detergent e de egu nsuom with the intention say odebekum microbes
I want him.
What the your external body na eto da enye that bad but so what the kohohoro ase a oba obetime nya obekum the 5 good microbes are taking care of wase ho no obekum amu nti okum amu
sa antiseptic hu asem na wo kan na nsuo bi na ya ehwie kakra bi gu nsuo mu na ase edi dware no
na ase edi dware
nti
odi
dware you don't want to mention names.
Yes. No, we don't. Hey, we don't. But then antiseptic. Antiseptic is a general term.
Yes,
for,
exactly. Nti say odi dware a make sure say won fa ohoro eho to odi ohoro ho nso a
doctor ye u doctor ni ofere ade say enfa ohoro ase doctor wo de kan wase
okay nti
Yeah, man. He's a gentleman.
He's educated. Enfa ohoro ho na ya ha
ebetia ye ho
doctor ha ana me ha
emanti ase
that's if you me ya me ha kete
it is a what dey ohoro ase a etimi kum good microbes na ebe put you in a line so wetin enemu yare na enemu yare ana junsom yare nti junsom yare wunya they can travel from urinary system no who say your lower urinary system and upper. And at the center of say reproductive system so you will lower and then upper. So who say a man so dey so a very close into betin free urinary system na upper reproductive system. A reproductive system na betin cause inflammation e wo they are PID. Pelvic inflammatory disease. Into a cause no over time na almost spread ko akire. A fallopian tube na it will cause scar tissues e was a fallopian tube. And no na over time no it may cause ectopic pregnancy because say fallopian tube no a block here oba to kosia e wo baby e be dance na be da awudi no ye fra ho no ambula na oba kosia no so chain sperms no enti say e be da baby e fra ambula no na say sperms no to cross baby a scar tissue no abroad up no na e ko ambula na it will fertilize ho now it take between 3 days to 3 months na kosua no every ho aba beda awodie no se ehɔ no scar tissue a build up ho a entimi emma ntime wo sa akwala na hya se oni ewo outside the uterus
na ko fancy
na akwa de efe ectopic pregnancy
doctor ye dware awie se anopa die na ye ni
okay
but your last one towel sweat very important. Yeah, taro. Once out one taro for a month and 2 months and 3 months. So what are we damage are we causing our skin?
So the towel and that of the panties and the boxers ni nano are very important.
And braziers.
And the braziers. Inti say towel no a gray first time baby a able to my boom na it ma dry up. Baby a area but my boom na to dry up. The same applies to boxers no
maybe
panties.
Yeah, okay.
Inti MBA air hope boxers another pants. Ma insu onkomi ye na samna na edehore no. Samna ni na emfim. In the case of yenuanu myself no say samna no entuma emfim a na or dry. O pants no dryer. Say esha natural no ba wo nsu kakro produce wo na ase. Na nsu no aba pants no mu a that is about forming foam, and that foam will begin to go back into the damn antiseptic. Now that's that they and it will kill some of the good.
In the taro, no. When do we wash them? Is it a
as for anything called or a relative between 3 days to 1 week,
until one weekend be water no way fufuro no it's standard.
Yes, it's
okay.
Ideal.
Okay, so let's come to the breakfast.
Okay, it's bana you see we have something called metabolism. Our metabolism is very high in the morning, slightly high in the afternoon, and then slow in the evening. So this is how our metabolism is. Inti say your metabolism is high and up down, then down upon the heavy
metabolism.
So your metabolism is like the way the body breaks down food, then it's utilized for cells in the ultimate diet. Or you're very high wa anapa.
Mate da anapa ne sora wo sunu na wade no nya mediban. Oye juma pa why dey feel why ready.
When the anapa what are they missing?
Okay, so they are missing good metabolism, but the body has a wonderful mechanism here. Also, or boy nipedua no. Ye wa ade bi wo ye nipedua mo friend pancreas. Pancreas no say if for pancreas no more, we have some cells called island of Langerhans cells. Into them island of Langerhans cells no, we have what we call alpha cells and then beta cells. Alpha cells produce BBL friend insulin, and then the beta cells produce more friend glycogen. Okay, into anytime be a did no, your body no store some of the energy in the body.
Okay.
Into say a sort of partner say indidi for some time. Over time, no one there won't liver no will produce BBI friend glucagon. Into glucagon no boka convert glycogen no into glucose. Na body no where use
or rely
on for energy. But sanka pede it depend on the outside source da and kana pana with the ADD. The ADD are the heavy meal today.
Eat breakfast like a king.
Like a king. Then lunch.
Into heavy meal, yan predominant diet. Aza oya available most of the time ya anapa iye koko na kose both fruits na ade. We'll talk about that. Ya wo dokon, benku, wache, emo, those things are available in the mornings. Maybe if you cry bi ho. Would you say that gobe? But gobe ya na oya me kofu bi so what on gobe anapa. So betu me da me anapa.
Nti enka for good health wise no enka yendi today wache dokon banku no onye gobe na ade anapa no. Then ewiabere no ya akon something slow another enyimire no either nothing or just the juice. When enyimire no ono no boa ni pedua no tibia na American there the body has time that it works. Into every organ. Into today, yen liver no, the processing organ no, or ye juma effectively from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Until you 10 p.m. Now, wo liver no or juma, and your body undergoes processing mode and then the cleansing mode around that time. And the yen pancreas no produce insulin. Now, ultimately, or the cells no ultimately sugar no. The pancreas stops working at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. O pancreas ni jay ejuma ye. Enti wapon
for the day.
Yes. Enti se opona then wo mo on my bottom adano so will kick in. Then that of the liver no so will be a cleansing mode. Enti say if the dibano anapa you will have ample time. Nobody know to process BBR to the next evening. No.
Would you say that 7 to 8 them are heavy food now there
until office 6 o'clock no up to somewhere 10 a.m. no heavy meal is the best. All free 11 other kwano either the fruits vegetables na deno so like that one because fruits no or a natural candy. Fruit your natural
natural toffee.
Natural toffee.
Candy obi ntas.
Natural toffee. Sugar womb. And them sugar we need sunlight to burn it. Inti say indino and apetutu tuna sun no nsha down pwe ye. And indina na dwuna aka dan so a ewia no. So you begin to store the fructose in yourself. Into over time when the sugar na in your freedom fruit no wa doso e wo nipedue no mo.
Into fruit is yenzi na wiabre.
Nke wiabre no your best.
It's not good for morning.
Morning is.
But what's the my friend the apple a day save your life. And you so how the amount of fruits we need to eat in the morning or do ya?
Ntinka today what can apple a day. Nti your baby our friend no daily recommended dosage. But ma fa ma kan mebre but then yipedua no ohia level bi a onya no wi a ma kan na no obo yen waste. Nti today banana you need about 3 fingers of banana in a day.
Like in the course of the day.
Yes.
But in the morning.
You say 10 kra na ma kan nyina body ni be wasting. Wow. Yeah.
Nti anopa day breakfast and fruits it comes with breakfast and now we shouldn't have fruits with this heavy food American.
Inside the fruits, they can breakfast today. Banku, fufu, banku, gobe no ni watching adina. You are doing what you call bad combination of food. Okay, so you should be a digestion.
Hello,
you see,
Ghana ego. Jala.
you should more friend on digestion. Digestion no you the way our protein or digest and you the way our carbohydrates or digest. Carbohydrates are what's there but gari, dokuno, rice, carbohydrates no. The digestion shall see free yenum. So anytime be out the carbohydrate there is something under your tongue. We call it salivary gland. It releases in subia ofrano amylase, and that amylase helps with the carbohydrates there. Over too much acid over digest. Then the BBR protein today meat, beans. Honestly, digestion is your food. So your food will produce something called pectin to help to digest the protein. And now, anytime there are some special nerve senses that triggers the brain there. On send a signal to the stomach. The stomach no on produce hydrochloric acid. Now, the body is so intelligent there. Any type of food be advisable no. But to calculate the quantity of hydrochloric acid that you will need to digest.
Okay.
And there, you will mix carbohydrates, protein, and that of the fruits. Or acidic, another alkalinic, at the kanwa. You confuses the body as to the quantity of hydrochloric acid that it should produce to be able to enable you to digest the edibino. So you tend to
for long life and a healthy life.
So what is going to happen in there? So if you eat carbohydrates mixed with protein and then that of the fruits now, it will get to the stomach and then the carbohydrate will wait for the protein to finish, then they will move into your intestine. And if you look at the way now, your digestive system is like a conveyor belt. So you know the conveyor belt that what the production team what the in at this point what the development at this point something will cover it, at this point label will cover it, at this point a stamp will come. That's the conveyor belt. As soon as you slow the conveyor belt at a particular point, you will cause havoc somewhere.
I did out me, so I confused. I don't say, remember in the production, Beunda then can't be so, na bibi abegu, na bibi akatado, na bibi the paper found, na bibi so the stamp place, not wako go box.
Process.
It's a process.
Into doctor said, say it's easy rougher. Na bibi ko choku baby pe aha wo body ni pa.
That the baby a stamp on stamp na bedi enim first which is wrong.
Yes.
Oh my word.
I said I the paper na fa. Until I da
product very basa.
Sometimes you eat at night. Combine a lot of food and then you wake up in the morning feeling more hungry than you went to sleep. And then also you see that when you feel why bloated, it burns out, another inflama, another then because it's the process of digestion will slow down, so the food begin to about cause fermentation, lactic acidosis, and the putrefaction.
Lack of knowledge, my people. Oh
wow. Doctors, what's here? I am sorry, near Nanto. Kakra, one so away, Jumano, once one Nanto, what's so auto baby, I want to one home Kakra. Yeah, any one come Kakra, you ever now soon.
Okay, it's today.
Abba office and
Abba office after 3 hours, after sitting down for 3 hours, sorry for 15 minutes. Now, mojan uncirculate. Otherwise, mojan by stagnant. Say, MBA, Obia, war, poor circulation, but when I say, what tate. And now, Obinsua. MBA once we didn't saw a non-to baby. So after working for some time, no, also tenacity, not relaxing. Nobody not unrelaxed. Now, onto me function. Yeah, driver. After driving for about 3 hours, Gina. Nananto for about 15 minutes and sana etumachodo. And then say a driver and so maintain this sugar. It's be a sugar dose not a fun drive because say eat the sugar now it triggers something in the brain now or may release more sleep hormone into bottom and your baby or friend hypersomnia into bone that it is CH cramp and another
drivers no one nama instead of your overpack no one pays bump up there and a pay wakatina baby what jenny gobe now we the only you what a canuma, brodo ra, meat pie ra, drink, what driving in an one co. It's also can cause accidents. Because Obama is slow, most staring at it.
Anything be a ebedza to certain degree no otum kwa adwene and sugar okwa adwene mu some it slows the brain a little bit into slow them na a moment that I dull into urban them na you can be feel it dizzy another be feel sleepy
when you crab kum na a door
na if you cause a problem into yen time ye be di time ye be di ne di yen dey ben contain a lot of sugar what man ya adwene why a door as drivers and then machine operators.
Doctor, if I some the pede catch Ghana for on this now, so just about 30 seconds.
Okay, intim peda me catch Ghana for you there. Ye wa Harmattan season. Ye num nsu bebre. Ye mana ye don ko school, ye mo ho nsu wonum wo ko school a wonum. Ye nhye wontal. Now ye ndi ediban a oye nourishing. Ye nhwe there ye botum nsu ya adaye. Ye nya about 6 to 8 hours. As adults, na yamo from so yamo between 7 to 9 hours. What bada? Nobody know to function ye.
As you want to not even any mama or boy and son of
a because say or ye being put that or a west because when you find what that less than 6 hours no what or two one test no or yan ketwa.
Obia came.
Obi to kind as beginning Sunday you cry ni sexual performance cry to me.
I am impaired because when we sleep you're producing so often testosterone.
In fact, doctor has to come back. We need to talk about reproductive health. Doctor, you
but
come
if
back.
We have part 2 of this because
we need to talk about mama na mu 2 a.m. na so na mu ba fie no mu ba 5 hours so was sorry anopa. Doctor say nti na mu kosini animu a tinkeja na nani ate. All right, doctor, let's finish.
Yo, so inti that isn't it numsu bebre na deye na afi bomodi na umoframa so yen hwe da ye ba hihye won ntare a wo cover won ho during this Harmattan season, especially bra waka da na dwe na in the morning na walk to school. By so doing we will be able to save our children from this Harmattan season associated with respiratory diseases no today asthma no honkeka ho.
All right, ebuson for any Dr. George Donkor NAD komo
on number to jama your friend then for no
show into say epeda enyimi din komo from 0244
0244
40
18 78 0244 40 18
Dr. George Donkor papa every Noble Trust Herbal Clinic and only abedin komo bebre Dr. Eda CP ejidisi eton safro next time obesa bakwesi.